you don't record them, there's no point of having it. But all right. So Nav thought people shouldn't have fully automatic weapons because his main point was people can go out and commit a mass shooting and shoot dozens of people. Well, I mean, if you think about it, he kind of contradicted himself because if you have a fully automatic firearm and you're firing it, in 1 second, you're probably going to fire your whole clip. Couple seconds, your whole clip. So you're only going to hit about a couple people, I would say, unless you're freaking like just throwing your gun everywhere. But I highly doubt you are. So all your bullets are only going to hit, let's say, 3 people the most in a big crowd.
Is it unreasonable to think though that someone with a fully automatic weapon would do that if their intent is to go out and do a mass shooting? Is it unreasonable to think that they would just spray their gun?
Well, let me ask you this. You're a cop, right? You know how to handle a gun. I'm pretty sure you clean it all the time, et cetera, right?
I mean, Glocks really don't require that much maintenance.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I guess if you're a gun enthusiast, I don't know if you know how to make your gun fully automatic, but many of my friends do. And if there is a ban on assault rifles really going to stop people from committing the fully automatic weapons? I mean, look at San Bernardino shooting. They didn't buy a fully automatic firearm. They converted it to a fully automatic firearm. So I just don't understand why ban something criminals are going to make because they're going to break the law anyway.
That would kind of go along to what a guy who's on here is. I don't know how to pronounce it. I know his real name. His name is Matt. And he says doing nothing just permisses everything, and I can understand that. So at least if we have that ban on fully automatic.
But I mean, when people say that, they want you to feel, wow, like you basically want to do something. But then you got to look at the other side of, is this law actually doing something, or is this law only stopping the law-abiding citizens? Because I mean, San Bernardino proves it again that it only stops the law-abiding citizens from obtaining a fully automatic firearm, because we don't want to go down that 10-year jail sentence if we get caught with it. Now, criminals, they're not going to care. I mean, someone's going on a mass shooting, what's going to stop them? The San Bernardino shooting, it really didn't stop them. I mean, and other than that, fully automatic firearms really haven't proved a history of violence at all, I would say, besides illegal ones, yes, but non-illegal ones, is there the violence to even ban them besides the fact that people think that it makes them sleep better at night to ban the firearm so they feel safe? I mean, is that really a good choice?
I guess the only thing I can really speak to when it comes to automatic firearms is coming from what my career is, being a law enforcement officer. Everybody was allowed to have them, and I'm strapped up with a handgun, and I'm going against an automatic weapon. Every situation then basically just turned to shit for every law enforcement officer. Because yes, we can also be issued an automatic firearm, but that's not going to be something that's easily accessible for us. We'd have to show up on out of our car, get it from wherever it is being securely holstered, and at this time, whoever's out doing these malicious acts has the jump on us. And normally in a firefight, as you would know, normally the first one to pull the trigger is going to win. If you have any kind of training whatsoever, first one to pull the trigger is going to win. So I think automatically you're putting your law enforcement officers, even your law-abiding citizens who would have the guns as well, you're putting them at a disadvantageous position because action is faster than reaction. People who have malicious intent are going to be able to get those rounds off before you have a chance to react. So I think just allowing fully automatic weapons where they don't even have to focus on their trigger pull, all they have to do is hold the trigger down and spray.
But I mean, when you spray, it's literally a second or two. 30-round magazine, depending on, I guess, the magazine they have. But I mean, if you were to breach a building, would you really use a fully automatic weapon as a cop? I would say, if I was a cop, I would not choose a fully automatic weapon to breach a building or any close quarters at all.
Normally going with shotguns when we breach buildings.
Yeah,
we don't go in with rifles.
Yeah, I mean, it's people's hobbies. I mean, if you want to waste basically $100 for a minute, that's what you're going to do with a fully automatic weapon. For the ammo you're going to be spraying. But I mean, other than, wow, this thing can shoot rounds really fast with one trigger pull, yes, but is that really going to do something, or is people just scared by it? I mean, then why have cars that can go 200 miles per hour on the street? Because if they hit somebody, they're dead and the person they hit's dead. I mean,
I get that, but even a car going 200 miles an hour that hits someone, that's two people versus someone with malicious intent holds down a trigger and sprays his gun can take out 30 people if those bullets.
I wouldn't say 30, depending on the magazine size.
I'm over exaggerating, but
Yeah.
my point is this dude who's holding down a trigger is going to take away a lot more lives, or potential
But
to
that's,
take
I
away
mean,
a
if
lot
you,
more lives.
but I would say if you're
It's
gonna
an
go,
wreck.
if you're gonna go on a mass killing spree, you have a better chance to kill more people with a semi-automatic firearm than a fully automatic firearm. Why not have precision when you shoot? Why not? I mean, if you're shooting, you could basically pick who you're shooting versus one trigger pull, your ammo is going to be gone in less than 3 seconds. All your ammo. That, I mean, you cannot aim at a very large people in 3 seconds unless you have a 308 round. I mean, a 5.56, depending on the ammunition you have, it's really not going to do the damage as a semi-automatic firearm.
But you know, the people that go out and do these heinous acts train for this kind of stuff. So if we permit them to have access to that kind of weaponry, it's not something that they're just going to go out there and, you know, waste their shot, be done with it. They're going to train how to reload fast. Just that you've even already mentioned, they went and they trained. You know, they trained for a while.
The criminals that are training.
Yeah, they got their.
Well, if they're training, how come they don't choose to modify their guns as fully automatic if that is the greater technique of?
Because some don't know. They don't know how to do it.
If they're training, if they're taking their gun apart, they're learning videos on YouTube. I mean, you could find it on the internet. It's not that hard. All it takes, I believe, you just drill a hole in a certain place and to let the gas go from a fully automatic, and there you go, and change the select fire on it.
I think that's probably one of the least things on their mind, and one of the top things on their mind before they go do these acts is where they're going to strike and how many people they try to take out. And this is probably the last few minutes of their lives. Now, there are criminals who would say, how can I turn this gun into an automatic weapon?
But I mean, it's not useful in those situations, I would say. I mean, people think, wow, this fully automatic is going to do a big damage, but literally they're going to hit all their bullets are going to hit one target, one person, I would say. And that's it. I mean, if
they get into a group, if they get into a crowd, kind of like what happened in Orlando, you can take out quite a few people in just that one spray.
I mean, yeah, but are you really going to kill them from when it goes through somebody? I mean,
it depends what you're shooting, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, a 5.56, 2.23, I would say after it hits the first person, it's really going to just not, I would say not kill the second person. Possible, depending where it hits, but I don't know. But
I think it scares me knowing if I'm going in or if I'm getting called out to a scene.
Oh, that's what I want to talk
about. Guy who, huh?
No, I want to comment on this one.
Good.
No, no, but after you're done, if you want to.
Yeah, it just scares me to know if I get called out to a scene. I mean, they know we're coming. People who do these kind of stupid, heinous acts, you know, they know we're coming. And I would hate to have that idea of every scene I roll up on. Some dude could walk out with an automatic weapon, and I'm just loaded up with a Glock, and my automatic one's in the trunk, and I have to get out of my car, get to the back, and then we can spar up. But by then, you know, he's put a ton of rounds on my patrol car, or me, depending how good he is at shooting. I mean, he's put some freaking rounds on me before I can even get out of the car, and I would just really prefer to not allow people to get a hold of a weapon that all it requires is for you to hold down the trigger, and then it's all about stabilization, put an accurate round on, versus a semi-auto where you got to pull the trigger every time, as you know, because I'm sure you go practice all the time. You have to have a good trigger pull. If you don't have a good trigger pull, you're going to pull your shot down. You're going to pull it left, pull it right, depending on if it's too weak or too strong. I think having that extra dexterity that criminals will have to use, which is them pulling the trigger over and over again, I'd rather them have to train that versus just getting a gun where they have to hold it down and just have to train fast reloads.
But is that something? I mean, my buddy's in the Marines. He's in infantry. He makes fun of the people that like. All right, I guess I should just explain his story. So like when people tell him like thank you for your service, he's like, oh well, you know, you already do. I get my paycheck this day and this day. and he like makes a joke out of it because I mean it's something he signed up for. He knows what
Yep.
he's doing. No one forced him to be there. It's not a draft or anything. He signed the papers to be in the
Right.
infantry. So when people want to give him all the honor, it's like he tells me, dude, like I'm not. I didn't have to be here. I chose to be here. It's my job that I'm getting paid for. Just
Mhm.
like as an officer, it's a job you're getting paid for. But I mean, in those along those lines, you're there to fight criminals breaking the laws. Which
Okay.
I mean, in a way, someone killing someone's going to break the law no matter what. I mean,
Right.
personally, me, I would not want to roll up to anybody shooting at me. I'm pretty sure you too. It's gonna freak you out every time, but I mean, it's kind of what you signed up for. Now, assault weapons, it's I don't know. I just don't see why, other than the fear of talking about it, people are scared of it. If criminals really wanted to do damage with assault rifles,
Mhm.
they would just make their gun fully automatic. I guess some may not know how, but the stuff they're looking into to get into ISIS and stuff like that, if they know how to get that far into the internet, then obviously they can look up on the internet easily in less than 10 minutes to make your gun fully automatic. So I think they don't make them fully automatic because they know that it, you can do more damage with a semi-automatic firearm. You may not get more shots off, but just because you get more shots off doesn't always mean you're going to get more people.
Mhm. I guess the one thing I would say back to I saw what you were trying to get at with your buddy who's in the infantry and all that. Yeah, we get what we sign up for. Where
Mm-hmm.
he is in the military, law enforcement is paramilitary esque. He's in the military. His job is to go to war. When he goes
Mm-hmm.
out there, he needs that kind of shit. Law
Mm-hmm.
enforcement, we're here initially to protect and serve, and if we have to use lethal force, that's something that's granted to us through our training. But
Right.
we're here to do a lot more than that. So we don't we're not signing up to go to war. That's
I
not.
mean, yeah, but I mean, most of the people in the military, I would say, not sign up to go to war. There's many other jobs, and such as infantry. There's tons.
I guess I'm just pertaining to if you get infantry. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of stupid to sign up for infantry and not
Yeah.
expect to go to war.
Yeah.
That's kind of dumb. But in terms of law enforcement, that is not what we signed up for. We signed up to protect and serve and have to use lethal force if necessary.
If
So I
necessary.
think permitting people to have automatic weapons, that changes our game plan too, because now we all of a sudden have to turn into a military organization. We have to train with automatic weapons, and it kind of just starts to take it to a whole nother level.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just prefer to not have to worry about some dude coming out, and before I can even blink, he's put 30 rounds on me.
I mean, but then you could say as a cop, like, we should just ban guns because I would feel safe not rolling up to anybody with guns.
No, I think you do have the right to own guns, but I think in a way it has to be semi-reasonable. I don't have a problem with assault
I hear
rifle.
people,
They
that
are.
Matt guy, I think he said your views against guns are very, like, on his side, I think he was saying. I don't know if you watched your debate. I think that's what he was talking about.
There are some things. I guess the loophole.
The gun show loophole?
The Yeah. Just from what I heard, yeah, I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm for universal background checks because at least in that moment, if something was to ping on someone, it would make it harder for them to get it. I'm not saying they wouldn't be able to, but
Mm-hmm.
they wouldn't be able to get it right there in that moment that they want it. And I'm all about making it difficult for people who have malicious intent.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm for background checks, and I'm for the loophole.
For the loophole, what about waiting periods? You like waiting periods?
In terms of what?
The 10-day waiting period. I don't know what they are in other states, but I know they have them.
I think as long as you clear a background check, I mean, just like how we have to get a background check to become law enforcement officers. If I have to get a background check to go into my career to hold a gun, you can get a background check to get a gun as well.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I personally don't mind background checks. It's just it sucks that I have to pay for them. I mean, I know I'm going to clear. I think the government should pay for them if they want that to be there, but they do it for the people that don't have a lot of money and they know they won't buy the gun because of it. Here in California, they're trying to put a background check on ammunition now. January
Really?
1st. Yeah, January 1st. Supposedly that law goes in, but they're not going to have that system until a couple years, I would say.
That's kind of interesting because you kind of need a gun for the ammunition to be worth a shit.
Yeah, but it's for the people that are buying a certain amount of rounds, but now they have to pay another $25 just to get around, so they're not going to get as much. Um, Other than that, the loophole, I don't know. I have to look into that more. As far as I knew, companies that go to these gun shows still have to provide the background checks. It was just private sales that don't. So,
And that's the private sales part is what would, automatically right there, that is a no-go for
but
me.
I think people are misguided because in Arizona, it's not about the gun show either. Because I can go to, if I lived in Arizona, I can meet up with a guy and purchase his gun, not at a gun show. I could do
I
it.
can agree to that, but again, like we've discussed, it's one of those things where I'd rather something be in place to make it a bit harder. I'd rather you have to go do that hand-to-hand thing versus coming to this event and it being that easy. If there's some legal way for us to prevent someone who shouldn't have a gun from getting it, I think we should. Like the gun show loophole. Like if we can shut that down, I think we should shut that down. If some dude wants to go face to face with some guy and buy a gun, that's his prerogative. But in terms of a public setting, I think the gun show loophole should be shut down.
But I mean, it's in the state of Arizona. That's where it's most commonly called the gun show loophole. That's their state laws. I actually went down there. I went to Arizona to look out a FS 2000. Do you know that type of gun?
No, I haven't.
No, it's by FN.
Okay.
I just got one shipped today. I did the paperwork, so I have to wait the 10 days today. But I went to go look out in Arizona. So in Arizona, if you live in Arizona, you could buy the gun. All you got to sign is a bill of sale, and you can take the gun home with you. Now that's
Okay.
it wasn't at a gun show or anything. So that's just Arizona's gun laws. That's not the gun show loophole. I guess people would say it is because it's just the state laws. Now I don't know about other states, but I mean, if other states require a private sale to be background checked, then that's it. But I mean, I would say you have a better chance of calling it the private sale loophole than a gun show loophole.
Yeah, I can guess that's fair to say as well. I mean, no matter what we say about it, I think there needs to be some kind of a barrier there. Some kind of checks and balances can be done, because I know there's going to be a lot of good people who want to just do a face-to-face buy from another person or whatever.
But then it goes along the lines as I mean, people that hate guns say they should be banned. Oh. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay. People that say they hate guns should be banned. We need more tests and background checks, stronger background checks. We need more test. Well, it's like saying I'm a normal person. If I sign up and take all those tests and I pass every single one of them and they know I'm not going to hurt a fly, then let me buy anything. Don't put restrictions on the state saying, well, you can't even own a fully automatic firearm because you live in California. But I just took all these tests that proves I'm not going to do anything wrong. Like, let me own whatever I want, basically. I would say that would be reasonable, because if I pass all the tests, then, hey, maybe I should own whatever I want, kind of.
Yeah, I think my state's has got it right. If you want to do it here, they're gonna get you a license. They're gonna get everything. They're gonna take a look at what your criminal background's been. They're gonna take everything. Sorry, they're gonna submit it to SLED, which is our state law enforcement division, and SLED's then gonna take their information that they have about you, and they're gonna send it to the FBI. And the FBI is going to take whatever information they have about you, and then they're going to submit all of that back. And it's normally actually a really quick process. So I think we have it pretty good in the sense of how a background check is done. I think that should kind of be
that's the universal, right? The universal.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's totally fine. They do it pretty fast. They do it relatively fast for what it's worth. And I think.
Can you take your gun home the same day, or?
Yeah, I haven't had the luxury of going out and buying my own. I want to, but I mean, I've got my own issued by my department, so I haven't really had a need to go out yet, because that's the only one I carry.
But your state laws, does it let you take home the same day?
I think there's something you can do, and I'm trying to remember what. If you have a CWP, if you have your concealed weapons permit, you can take home that same day. If not, I think it's like
what state do you live in?
South Carolina.
Oh, South Carolina. Okay.
I think if you have your CWP, they'll put all your shit in, because you have to do a background check just to get your CWP.
Okay.
So,
Do you have to take it's like a
that.
firearms safety certificate or something?
A concealed weapons permit.
Oh, concealed weapons.
And
Those are very hard to get in our state. How long does it take for a process for a normal citizen to get one?
well, really, they just have to take a class. They have to take a CWP class.
Oh, really? And that's it? And they get it?
Yep, you'll have to. I mean, they'll do a background check on you before you even get
Yeah.
in. So I haven't had to do a CWP because I just
Wow.
have a badge on my hip, and that's all I
To
need.
get a concealed carry license, you have to have a good cause, and it can't just be just because. You
Really?
have to have a good cause. It takes about a year and a half, I would say, and
Wow.
that's when you start the process. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you
It's
got to
not
have
like
it approved by the
Carolina at
sheriff.
all.
So
Yeah, it's not here in South Carolina at all. They'll do a background check. That's why if you have your CWP, you can take home the same day because they already do a background check on you in our state. You get a background check done, and then you take your CWP class, and then you're set. You're ready to go. You don't need cause or anything.
But would you say the background check, let's face it, it's a very good thing to have. But when you have a black market so widely available, is it really a good thing to have if they're not enforcing the laws we already have? Like, let's take Chicago as an example. The city,
Okay.
they know tons of people have guns. They know that it's just horrible there, but they're not doing anything to stop it. The cops could go out and enforce the laws and round up many people and throw them in prison. So what would you say to that?
Say to like the illegal guns that are out on the streets?
Yeah.
There's really not a whole lot we can do with that other than make arrests. But in order to do that, we need a little bit more power from our city to allow us to go out and do some more stuff. It's because in these inner city areas like Chicago and that kind of stuff, for some reason, these are the strictest areas that restrict what the department can actually do because they're scrutinized so much because they think all the cops in the inner city areas are racist. They input these policies to make them lackadaisical, and it hinders policing, and it makes it hard for us to get a mass weapons off the street. I know in the city that I work in the other day, ours isn't that strict because we don't really have an inner city. We do have a Section 8 housing, and we get a lot of weapons from there. But, I mean, we went and raided a house. There was 10 guns, 10 illegal weapons in this one dude's house. So we were able to get 10 off the street that way. I mean, we can't expect the system perfect, but we have to make it as hard as we can for them. We can't just allow anything for these criminals. We can't just make it permissible. The law-abiding citizens, it's really not that much of a hindrance. At least the way my state runs it, it sounds like your state's pretty shitty.
Yeah, my state's fucking horrible.
I think mine's got pretty good checks and balances where it at least makes it harder for them to go get it. And
you guys can have assault weapons there, I would assume, right?
Yeah, there's no open carry though. We're not open carry.
We can't open carry. We can't. You can basically, if you don't know what you're doing and you're transporting your firearm, you're most likely probably going to go to jail. Your gun can't be loaded either, or your handgun has to be locked in a case. That is not at reachable hands.
Yeah, in our state, if you're a CWP holder, or even if you're not a CWP holder, if you're a CWP holder, you can pretty much have it anywhere on you as long as it's concealed. It can be anywhere in your car as long as it's concealed, and then you present your documentation to the officer if you were to get pulled over. But even if you're not a CWP holder and you have a gun in South Carolina, as long as you keep it in the glove compartment or in the trunk, that's a legal place for you to have it.
Oh, really? Ours, they count that as reachable in the glove department.
Yeah, nope, not us. We consider that's a safe place in South Carolina for you to have it because we're going to see you go digging before you can pull it out.
Yeah. Would you say, do you know what a bullet button is?
What?
A bullet button?
A bullet button? What's a bullet?
Yeah.
What's a bullet button?
All right. I'm pretty sure you've shot an AR-15 or any semi.
Yes, we shot ARs.
Most, I guess. You guys mag release, you just push the button, right?
Yes.
Here in California, you have to have a thing that cuts it off, so you have to have a tool to shove in there, such as a bullet, a tool to put inside of it so it releases the magazine, so you can't use your finger at all.
Wow.
And Yeah. So, but they're actually banning that. So now, to make AR-15s illegal, you have to take the back pin out, open the gun, like when you open it to look at your trigger group and you can see your bolt carrier group and all that.
Hmm?
That's basically the new way how you have to open up your gun to pull the magazine out and
No
re-reload it.
finger use, huh?
Yeah, that's basically. I mean, gun laws to me, I see as more pointless because we have just the dumbest ones, like the one about the bullets. Now we have to get a background check just to buy bullets, so it's just retarded.
Man,
And
I mean,
yeah,
I think, like I said, I think South Carolina has some good checks and balances. You can come move here.
yeah. I
You
think
can-
literally all the federal gun laws, they're reasonable, but when it comes to states, some states just take it out of hand, I would
I
say.
mean, that just depends whether it's liberal or conservative, really.
Mhm.
I guess kind of trying to get back on topic though. I hope you can agree with me that I know it's fun to have an automatic weapon for sport, but you're putting a hindrance of a lot of people's lives just because of, like I said earlier, action being greater than reaction. If someone wants to do some damage and just spray like fucking crazy and trains how to do fast reloads,
Mhm.
like the guy in Orlando did, he trained for fast reloads and he was able to
Mhm.
pop as soon as he popped them out. As soon as he was empty, he was cocked and loaded again. That's what all the eyewitnesses report on him. He was
Mhm.
trained on how to get that shit smooth and quick. So I think
Actually, I actually
that
looked into it. He owned 3 guns or 2 guns before he bought his MPX. I think they're called MCX, MPX firearm. So I don't. It's just yeah. I think people. Oh, actually, he said that you think people on the no-fly list should not be able to buy a firearm or something like that. I think he said you agreed with that one. I think that's what it was.
I can, but here it comes with a hindrance to it. Like I want to, I, I would say that, but the whole way to get on the list has to be revamped. You have to be
It has to
according
be
to my
reasonable. Like
yeah like
I think.
the whole. If you have a similar name to a terrorist and you're on that list, I think that's stupid. I think
Yeah,
that's fucking
I mean,
stupid.
it is, but it's just what I don't understand. If you have a suspicion of somebody, why not just take them
Mm-hmm.
to court? Obviously, you have proof of what makes you think they're terrorists, so do more investigation about it. And if you can't find anything, then leave it alone, or just keep watching them. Don't put them on a terrorist watch list so he can't buy a gun. Now, I mean, what people don't understand when you have a no-fly list, you're flying across the country isn't a right; it's a privilege. So when you're coming
Mm-hmm.
to take guns away, you're taking someone's rights away without the due process. Well, what they're trying
Mm-hmm.
to do, I mean, it's people on the no-fly list, I believe, now can still buy firearms, but if you're going to take the right away, you have to go through the due process. That's just it's a
I can agree with that.
mandatory.
And one of the main points of the no fly list was really to also prevent people in America to go and join the actual terror cells themselves in the Middle East.
Mhm.
It wasn't really so much meant for scared of domestic stuff. They were scared of United States citizens who wanted to go join ISIS from just flying over there and making
Mhm.
it easy for them. So I
Yeah,
think that
I,
was
I
one of
believe I read a article where if you go to certain parts of the country, you can end up on it or something like that.
the potential to it. There's really no set way. People can say what they want. There's no known way to get onto it. And even then, some stories that you might hear about why I got put on the list are probably bullshit. Because if
I,
someone gives you if the government actually gives you the reason, then you got lucky because they don't even have to tell you the reason why you're on the list.
and that's where the other guy was like, "Where's your proof? Where's your proof?" It's like, I mean, you really can't say that's not proof because you don't know even the full list yourself how to get on it. They don't release that because they feel that the terrorists would just avoid it or something like that. But
They would.
I mean, it's true, but you can't really deny someone saying they were on it if
Is
you
that
really.
really unreasonable to think when there's really only 1,000 whatever names? Is it unreasonable to think that there's 1,000 liars out there or 1,000 people who exaggerate
Well,
the
it's
truth?
not what Nav was saying is he thought that 1,000 names meant 1,000 people, but as many people confirmed that if you have the same name as a terrorist, you're considered on the no-fly list. So, I mean,
You
one
could
name.
potentially be on it. You could potentially be on.
I mean, I thought people said with the same name you were on it. So, and you
No,
had to go through a
that's
process.
no. And
Weapon?
No, that's not true. You could potentially get onto
Well,
it.
the
But there's
5-year-old, the
other
5-year-old,
stuff.
that one's actually a true story. The media went over and they had to go through court with it. A 5-year-old was on the no-fly list because he had the same name, and that's why many kids are on
Yeah.
the no-fly list because they have the same names as terrorists.
And what you're actually starting to see is a lot of terrorists start to take similar American names.
Hmm. And I mean,
They
so
actually
when
do
you,
that.
but let's say if
It
John
was
Smith was on the name, that's about 50,000 people in America that
that's
are
a
on the
pretty common
no-fly list
fucking
just
name.
because. Yeah, that is a common name. I don't know
It's a
if it's
pretty
on that,
common name.
but I mean, like, think about it. There's my name's Chris Kaler. I have it on here. I know I would never do a terrorist act or look into that stuff to be suspicious of a terrorist, but when I look up my
Yep.
name, there's many other ones out there. So, I mean, it's kind of a shot you really, it still can happen to you, I would say.
Yeah, like I say, I would want to change it to you need to get on it according to my standards, and according to my standards, it would be enough for you to live in a world of social media. So I would have
Mm,
to see something on your social media that says you follow a bunch of ISIS activists, you post questionable material, not so much threatening material, but questionable material, and
mm,
just using that along with maybe where you're planning to fly to. If you're planning to fly out of the country somewhere in Europe, well, I mean, even if you're flying to France, there's ISIS terrorist cells that hide in France.
yeah.
So if you're following these ISIS activists and you're saying questionable
Yeah, but
things,
see,
I want
like
to prove.
that, yeah, that's a suspicion. But what Nav was saying, well, if you say that you're gonna blow up the Twin Tower, I mean, not the Twin Towers, the White House, you're gonna be put on the list. No, if you said that, you're going to go to jail. You're actually gonna go to jail straight for. FBI shows up at your door, CIA, because there's been many instances where someone said like the president should be killed or something like that, and the FBI does show up at their door. So.
And depending on the credibility of that, it would come down to ability, opportunity, and jeopardy. So if someone is near DC and they were to
Mhm.
make that kind of comment, I could see the FBI busting doors down all day long. If it's some guy out in Texas who never really travels much out of the country, I don't really see the FBI taking hold of it.
Have you seen the movie Snowden?
No, though.
No, it's actually a really good movie. It's actually crazy to what it like what I don't it was a true story and like everything that it was
Yeah.
basically like a true thing, right?
Yeah, man, that's my plans to go to the FBI once I get a couple years under my belt.
Oh,
But I'm not even
FBI?
20. I'm not even 23, so I can't even apply to the FBI.
Yeah. I don't know. That was I mean, it was a crazy movie to think like as they were I mean, as he said they had this monitor thing that they would type in something and it would pop up as like danger the president or something like that. Anything words dangering the president, it would come up with everyone's profile name, like, what they said on social media. And then I guess I mean, I'm pretty sure you know the story how they were just like going through people's computers, cams and just like looking at them without the laws doing that and saying like they were lying to we were lying to other countries
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know, but
It's all some pretty cool shit. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
yeah.
kind of.
But would you say he should be pardoned for that for doing something actually helping the Americans? Because he said that hey, the Americans should choose what is doing this. The government shouldn't have like this authority. They're lying about it, this and that. So do you think he should be charged with espionage for that?
I mean, personally, I mean, personally, if the
What was
government's
that?
lying, then I think it happens. But I think if the government's lying, we have a duty to hold them accountable for it.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah,
my
but
person with him on it.
yeah,
I think we have
yeah.
a duty to it. I guess that's just kind of the new form style of policing in
Mm.
me that's coming out since I feel like shit that they might have been able to get away with in the old days is kind of coming to an end. People are wanting to be more transparent.
As a police officer, I just want to get this out of the way. Do you feel black people are picked out more than the white people?
Do I feel black people are picked out more than white people?
Yeah, as where
I
you
mean,
live, I guess.
what a lot of people don't get is, if you're a police department, where are you gonna have a lot of patrolling done? Where are you gonna have a lot of patrol officers at?
In the, I guess, bad areas as the ghettos and stuff like that, where more crimes happening.
You're gonna have more policing and more patrolling in the areas of high amounts of crime,
Hmm.
and the high amounts of crime is typically your ghettos, your Section 8 housing.
Hmm.
Just because simply, they either don't have jobs, don't want jobs, and in order to put food on the table for their families, they have to commit crimes. So it's a sad situation to see. So yes, we it's not so much black; it's just the
It's
poorer
a culture thing,
communities.
you would say.
Uh, yeah, I definitely think. Well, I mean, obviously, because the Section 8 housing in the ghettos is made up primarily of African American individuals or Black individuals who may not have African heritage. So I'm just gonna say Black. Um, that's the majority that's in Section 8 housing and that kind of stuff. And they're in shitty situations. They don't have an education or whatever, or in those type of
Yeah, but I mean,
scenarios.
when you talk about education, all of them have the same right as me and you did to get a high school diploma.
Yes.
Um, as far as my parents, when they were kids, they were speaking, oh yeah, we had to walk like 3 or 4 miles just to get to school. They had to walk that.
Mm-hmm.
So when you talk about, well, there's really no excuse, I guess you could say, to not graduate high school.
Yeah, well, I mean, what winds up happening is these Section 8 housing areas, these ghetto areas, are run by the gangs.
Hmm.
It's a thing of authority, and someone in the gang who wants to recruit, they see these kids and they're like, hey, you don't need school, come join the gang. You'll get respect, you'll get friendship, you'll get money, you'll get everything you want. To a kid, that's like yes, yes. So to a
Yeah.
14-year-old kid, like that's all I want. I don't need to go to school. I can make bank right now doing some sneaky stuff. The gang's gonna have my back.
Hmm.
And that's what you start to see is you start to see not major gangs, we call them local gangs. Local gangs just start to take over your Section 8 housing areas, and that's where the poor education comes in, because then it becomes a norm for the
Hmm.
Section 8 area, to where you just, as they leave, new ones come in, new recruits come in, and
Yeah.
it's just repeating cycle. I think we need to focus a lot on gangs. If you take out gangs, which is what Mayor Giuliani did when he was in New York, you start to see the crime rate drop because people aren't joining the gangs and they commit the majority of the crimes.
Hmm.
As a statistic, I think you even pointed out, a lot of gun violence with murders, 80% were with gangs. I mean,
Hmm.
that's a true statistic.
Yeah. I mean, here in California, San Bernardino, we have a very big gang problem, I guess you could say. But I mean, I think no matter what you do, it's always
Yeah,
going to
I'd
be
say
there.
that
It's
with
kind of
it.
one of those things. But
But that's the reason why the education in those Section 8 areas is hard, and it's hard for people to want to graduate, because for 14, that's money, power, respect, family.
hmm,
That's what they're sold, and 14
like
year
a
old
brotherhood,
brain
I guess you
says
could say.
yeah. 14-year-old brain says yes, or they watched their older brothers join the gang, so
And they
they're like,
can't
yeah, I
wait to
got to
do it.
follow my
Yeah,
brother.
that's true.
All right,
Yeah,
man.
I didn't think of it that way, but yeah, I guess that is true.
It's exactly how it is. On a day-to-day, months keep rolling through, get recruited, and
Hmm.
drop out of school because they don't need it anymore. They're making bank at 14. They're making money, which they don't even
Are
realize.
you
They're just
are you
bonds.
part of the PD or sheriff?
PD. I'm not the county.
Are you not the county? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys have to polygraph for that position or no?
Our department didn't. They threatened us with it through the application process, but
Oh,
they never.
really?
Like when I went in for my initial interview, they were like, "Do you smoke weed?" I said no. They said, "Would you be willing to take a polygraph and answer that question?" I said yes, and I never got asked on a polygraph. I never had a polygraph.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I think I've never
Depends
heard
on the
anyone in California not go through polygraph, but I mean it's strict down
polygraph is
here.
a big deal, especially with the California State Patrol being the best patrol in the entire. I mean, that was a thought for me too, to go join them and go out west. But I mean, that's some big stuff. I like working for small departments because then I can do a whole bunch of stuff.
Okay. So how many people would you say? Is there just a ton in your department or?
The department I was at was pretty big for a South Carolina department, for a police department, I should say.
Okay.
We only had about, even though it was only like 7 people per shift, 7 officers, and then you have your city captains that are 7 per shift. Which, I mean, my city was only 16 square miles. It's really not that big.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but we had a lot of people crammed in it. We had 30,000 people crammed in it.
Yeah, that's kind of a lot.
Yeah, this new town is for, though, 3,000 people in it, and it's going to be me and one other guy on shift during night shift. So that's it. And that's going to open up a lot more opportunities for me. Instead of like at my old department, how I would go to an incident, fill out the paperwork, and then hand it off to the investigations unit, and that would be it for me. I never do anything again. And so this department, I'm going to be in it from start to finish. I'm going to have to gather all the evidence, do my investigations, and then.
Have you ever thought about going to the county side sheriffs?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm young, so I kind of want to get as much experience as I can. I think a small department is good for a young officer because you get to do everything from start to finish. Whereas if you jump into a big department, you're going to do the basic paperwork, and then you're going to hand it off to the investigations unit, and you're never going to do anything about it from there. Being in a small department, I'm going to prosecute my own cases in court, so I think it builds up a good resume for when I try to go to the feds when I turn 25.
Oh, so you don't go to court at all in your cases?
If you for the one I used to work for, we would do magistrate cases, general sessions cases, which is your criminal cases. County solicitor who would come and do our cases for us.
Okay.
The town I'm in, we prosecute pretty much all of our cases unless it's a murder or a rape or something that's pretty serious. Then they'll pay a county solicitor to come over to our town and prosecute.
Okay.
In South Carolina is the only state where we prosecute our own cases. Everything.
Oh,
Fun fact of the day.
So is the FBI hard to be in?
I mean, I've never been into it because I can't even apply to be a special agent until I'm 23.
Well, like I'm pretty sure you've done research, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've done all I can. You never really know too much about the process because, I mean, it is the FBI. How much they actually disclose is probably very minimal. But
do you know? Do you have any like friends or family in there?
I have friends who were in it, and he couldn't really tell me much about it. He's out now, but he still has his credentials and everything. He's allowed to carry.
Oh, dang, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's a badass. I'm not gonna lie.
So they'll probably end up watching this video.
Yeah, probably gonna end up watching this video. That's why I normally don't record my videos. So this is the first ever video I've ever recorded.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I normally don't, just because I think sometimes it can be about with people maybe unprofessional for me to be recorded.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought about that, but I'm just like, why not just record it, But
I get you. You never thought about being a cop or anything, man?
I want to be one, but I don't know. I would say you probably make more money doing nursing and stuff like that.
Doing nursing?
Yeah. As far as in California.
It's not a job you get into for pay.
Yeah. I mean,
you get into it because you love it.
I personally would want to carry. I mean, but in your state, you can carry in a concealed carry. You can get that easy. In California, it's a very hard way to get it, I would say. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
But, I mean, I don't know. I think it would be cool. My family's, a lot of them, they're sheriffs. So.
Really?
Yeah. Well, my stepdad, I would say.
If your stepdad's a sheriff, I mean, you pretty much have. He's not a deputy sheriff. Is he the sheriff?
Deputy sheriff, yeah.
Okay, so he's a deputy. He works for the department. Got it. I was
saying, he's not the sheriff.
And you pretty much
have. Yeah, the sheriff, that'd be crazy. But my mom's actually good friends with the sheriff in my county, so
that helps.
She used to work under him when you did this. I don't know. It's like a long process, but yeah. So we went to my stepdad's ceremony, and I've met him, so I mean, it was pretty cool. But I don't know. I would feel nursing more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, you got to go with what you're happy with. I agree. Like I said, it's not a job you get into for the pay. You have to get in and love it. I tell all my friends that who I see around who are asking me about being a cop. They're like, maybe I'll get into it. If I don't like it, I'll leave. I'm like, that's not how this works. If you come in with that mentality, you're gonna get someone killed.
Yeah. Yeah. And you work a kind of a lot, I guess you would say. Actually, not really. I mean, when you work jails here, you probably work a 3 and then a 4.
We do
days.
12-hour shifts. So
Yeah.
and it's most departments here in South Carolina, you'll work 5 days one week and then you'll work 2 days the next week, and it just keeps
Oh,
rotating.
really?
5 days one week, 2 days the next week. 12-hour
Okay.
shifts.
That's pretty good. Ours here, as far as I know, it's a 3-4. So
Before?
yeah.
Cool.
I would rather do the 5-2. That seems like it would be really good.
Them 5 days, man. Let me tell you, them 5-day weeks are rough. It's Monday.
Yeah.
It's Monday, Tuesday. You'll work Wednesday, Thursday. You'll be off Saturday, so then you'll be off Monday, Tuesday. Work Wednesday, Thursday. Off Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that's nice. That week's nice.
Mhm. Dang.
All right, man. You go ahead and get your shit together. This was a good talk. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sleep because I haven't slept.
All right.
Good talk, man.
Good night.